Every night, you participate in a ritual so familiar you barely notice it. You climb into bed, close your eyes, and allow the world around you to disappear. The identity you spend your waking hours maintaining simply dissolves into silence. We generally view this process as a biological absence, a temporary shutdown of the self before the next day begins. To understand why that might be a mistake, consider how a bat navigates a pitch-black cave. It cannot see the walls, so it emits a high-frequency signal and listens to what returns. By measuring the waves bouncing back, the bat builds an accurate map of a landscape that remains invisible to its eyes. The human unconscious behaves like that dark cave. It is an unobservable black hole containing a vast architecture of memories, instincts, and background processing that we cannot directly access. When a system is too complex or too dark to observe directly, the only way to map its internal structure is to throw a signal into the void and see what the echo reveals. In 2024, researchers at Google used this exact principle to solve a problem inside their most advanced quantum computer, Willow. Quantum systems are notoriously difficult to study because the act of looking at them destroys the data. Directly measuring the internal state collapses the system, making it impossible to see how it actually functions. To bypass this, the team developed a workaround known as a quantum echo. The process starts by sending a signal through a network of 100 qubits. During the journey, researchers introduce a microscopic disturbance, a tiny change to a single qubit known as a perturbation. They then reverse the entire operation, forcing the signal to travel backward. When this returning signal encounters its original path, it creates an interference pattern. This echo reveals the internal connections and hidden structures that were previously impossible to see. This mechanical process of using an echo to retrieve data from an unobservable system provides a technical framework for understanding how the human mind retrieves information from itself. Decades before quantum computing, the psychologist Carl Jung developed a model of the psyche that relied on this logic of hidden signals. Jung described waking consciousness as a tiny island surrounded by an unobservable ocean of psychological activity. While our conscious mind focuses on immediate tasks, the unconscious monitors background data. It tracks emotional conflicts, behavioral contradictions, and hidden threats we normally ignore. Because the unconscious and conscious mind operate on different logic, they cannot communicate through direct language. Instead, it introduces a symbolic perturbation, like a collapsing bridge or the feeling of being chased. When this symbol travels upward and interacts with awareness, the resulting interference pattern is the dream. It is a psychological echo, carrying information from the deep mind back to the surface. This explains why certain dreams feel uncannily predictive. People report dreaming about life transitions, illnesses, or accidents shortly before they occur. The unconscious mind functions as a sophisticated predictive engine. By analyzing patterns that never reach conscious awareness, like the subtle decline of a relationship or invisible symptoms of an illness, the mind calculates the most likely trajectory of our lives. A powerful dream is the output of that calculation. It is a symbolic map of our probable future, rendered as an experience to ensure we pay attention. If dreams are echoes of a deeper reality, they reveal just how much of our world is internally constructed. Every night, the brain generates a physics-obeying, three-dimensional reality from nothing but its own internal data. In a false awakening, this internal rendering is so perfect that the mind is entirely convinced it is awake. We begin our morning routine inside a simulation that we cannot distinguish from the physical world. Neuroscience suggests that waking perception works the same way. The brain acts as a simulation machine, using fragments of sensory information to update an internal model of the world. If the mind can generate an entirely convincing reality while we sleep, it raises the possibility that our waking life is simply another layer of construction. Late in his career, Carl Jung recorded a dream that challenged his understanding of identity. He found himself in a temple, observing an ancient yogi seated in deep meditation. When Jung looked at the yogi's face, he realized it was his own. He was struck by the realization that he was not the one dreaming. He sensed that his waking personality, the self he identified with, was a secondary character being dreamed by this deeper intelligence. Tonight, when you fall asleep, you are descending to meet the author of your reality. Every dream is a signal sent from that deeper awareness, waiting for you to listen to the echo.